PA Pipe Smoker here. Today we're going to be looking at the 2018 Dodge Challenger TA. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about what TA means. This TA has a 392 Hemi in it. It's the 6.4 liter. Okay, we're going to look at some of the things on the outside of this car first. We're going to have a full in-depth review. So first off, I want to mention with this model, this has the lower spoiler on the bumper. Okay, it's only about less than a foot off the ground, maybe 6 inches. So you got to be careful going over some low obstacles like that. Be a little bit aware of that. The 6-cylinder model that does not come with that, so you've got a little bit more ground clearance. Okay. Moving over here, you see now. One thing important with the TA, you have matte paint on the hood, matte wrap on the roof, and a matte wrap on the trunk. When we open up the hood, you're going to see that the inside scoop is actually a useful scoop that actually puts direct air into the cold air intake. Also, we have that turn signal light that actually goes into the scoop as well. Okay, that'll actually go right into your air cleaner. All right, coming over here, we have our Brembo brakes. These come in the red and they also come in gray. These are performance brakes. They have 6 pistons in there. The rotor is actually a 2-piece rotor. So those are all performance. Let me tell you what, just from my personal experience, this thing stops like the hand of God is coming down and stopping your car, okay? These tires here, these are the Firestone Performance summer tires. And when we take a little bit better look at that, we'll actually show you the tread on these particular tires, okay? TA has the TA badge on it. TA stands for Trans Am. And you do have the 392 badge on here as well, okay? My personal opinion, some guys really like this, but the problem I see when it comes with the black car, you can't see that 392 badging on there. So my personal opinion, I wish they would have made that like a chrome color so when it does show up on the black cars, because this TA badge, this TA stripe is always going to be black on no matter what TA car you have. It's always going to have that black matte hood, roof, and the trunk lid, okay? One thing this has is this comes with the black fuel cap, so you do not have to go out and purchase one for 90 bucks off of eBay. Back of the car's stock, just like anything else, but you do have the Challenger TA badge on here as well. We're going to go up, we're going to look at the hood and look at the motor. So this car does come with those hood pins. I did pull those hood pins off already, so we'll go ahead and open that hood. All right, and here's what I was telling you before. If you look up here, you'll see this is an actual scoop. This is where it comes in right from that scoop and it goes directly into this air cleaner. That's the air cleaner that comes with the car. Also, if you look down in here, you'll see that that comes actually from that turn signal light. If you look over here, you'll see that's the intake where that other extra air comes in. So we have the oil separator on here. This is an added piece up in this area here as well, okay? Like I said, SRT street racing technology, 6.4 Hemi 392 engine. All right, now I'm gonna start it up. We're gonna get a exhaust clip. So I'm gonna put my hood pins back on. That one actually broke off. Guys, if you break a hood pin or if a hood pin breaks, don't go out and buy one for $90 from Mopar. Go to Home Depot. They have these at Home Depot. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is going to go get an exhaust clip from this, okay? So I'm going to start it up. Just head right to the back and we'll hear what this puppy sounds like. this car does have on it, this has the exhaust baffles in it. So when you put this in sport mode, it'll actually open those baffles up so it's actually louder than if it was in economy mode. So if you get down here, you can really hear that exhaust rumble. Nice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get in the car, we're going to take this thing for a little test drive, I'm going to show you some of the controls in the car. Alright, so right now I'm going to go over some of the things inside the car. We're going to take a look at some of the controls and features that this car has. We're going to take a look at this screen here. Now, this has the Super Track Pack option, so we're going to press Super Track Pack, and we take a look up at the screen. We have a lot of different options here, okay? I'm not going to get too involved in this because there's a ton of videos out there that talk a little bit about this, but auto, this is in the econo mode. One nice thing about econo mode is this will actually run on 4 cylinders. You'll get approximately 20-something miles per gallon, and when that happens, you'll actually feel 4 cylinders shut off in the motor. Now, it's when you run it soft. So if you're nice and gentle on the pedal, you're actually running this motor on just only 4 cylinders, which really helps the fuel economy. We have the sport mode, which is my favorite mode. Now, little trick is when you put it on sport mode, it takes your traction to sport traction. If you look over here, you'll notice that our traction control is off. You could actually drive this car on sport or track mode with full traction by doing this. Take your traction control button, pushing it 2 times, and getting that traction control light to go off. It's a much safer car, in my opinion, for the road by doing that way. But you could also have that sport mode and features from your transmission, from your steering, okay? Next option we can have is our track option. That gives the car that makes the car feel a lot more aggressive. I personally don't like driving on that on the street. I think it's just a little too hard for the car. It just pushes the transmission a little bit harder than I think it should be run on a normal basis, okay? With that being said, I'm not going to go too far in depth with this system. I'll show you a couple real quick things. There's a valet mode, which will cut the horsepower to the engine should you want to get valet done and you don't want them to have the full beans of this thing. We do have race options. Race options are kind of cool. We have launch control. I'm not going to do launch control now, but again, there's a ton of videos on launch control. You can have a shift light where this is automatic, but if you do run it in the auto stick mode, it can tell you when to shift if that's what you absolutely need. Okay, so for right now, we're going to put it back in sport. I'm going to put it on my favorite setting with the full traction control on. So again, the steering wheel here is like any other Dodge Challenger wheel. Couple things that I don't like, and I've said this on my last Challenger video when I test drove the 5.7 Hemi Challenger. When it's in radio mode, one thing that bothers me is that the volume is on the right and the station control is on the left behind the wheel. Because what that does to me, it makes me have to think volume on the right, station on the left, when a normal radio is set up the normal way. So again, that's one thing that's a little tiny pet peeve of mine when it comes to these cars and how they actually set them up. Again, there's not a whole lot more to talk about in here that I want to share. So let's just take this puppy out on the road and see what we got from here.
Go.
All right. So we are out in sport mode, which again gives the steering wheel a little bit more feel to it than if it was in economy mode. One thing I like about this is the exhaust sound. It's not crazy loud. I don't know if you could hear it, but I could definitely hear it in here, and it is loud on the outside. So there's been a few conversations out there about what exhaust should I upgrade the exhaust? Should I upgrade the headers on this thing? What should I do to this car to make it more aggressive, make it louder? Well, again, there's really nice videos out there where people have actually changed out their headers, changed out their exhausts, changed out just the headers, just the exhaust. They're given all the options with this 392 motor. And guys, I'll tell you what, I think, in my opinion, if I could do something to this car, what I would actually do is put a butterfly valve in and run a straight pipe. Now, I know some of you guys are like, that's insane. Yes, but I would not mess with my stock exhaust. I would have a separate straight pipe off of the exhaust, so I could actually flip between all this exhaust features and my actual straight pipe if I really want to get nuts. One thing about these cars is the actual acceleration. You don't have to go 100 miles an hour to have fun with these cars, okay? These cars love to run fast in a straight line, but I'll tell you what, when you have the acceleration to get up and go on that highway, that's really where the fun comes in with this. Is it a fun track car? Sure. Is it good at the drag strip? Yes. Is it good in an autocross and like back roads? Well, here's the thing. It's a 4,000-pound car. I think it's a little bit more than that. But the motor compensates for that weight. So in my personal opinion, I think this car offers just enough for the weight of this car, okay? Sure. Some of your Jaguars, do they outmaneuver this? Yes, they will outmaneuver it. But is this pure fun, just American muscle? My personal opinion, absolutely. Now, if we take a look in the front, you'll see that scoop up there is kind of like a little, in my opinion, not a roadblock, but I like the fact that you could see the scoop, okay? It makes it feel like it's almost like a Corvette. Whenever you could see some of that hood and see some of that performance parts, you definitely feel like it's not your everyday average little Toyota, okay? Not saying Toyotas are bad, but it's apples and oranges at that point, okay? So, you know, the fun of this car is the sound. The fun is the feeling. You know, I was looking at this and I was looking at a Corvette. Funny story on this particular car. I actually bought this car the last week of December in 2019, and this car sat on the dealer's lot for about 6 months. I got a pretty good price on it. God, this never gets old. And listen, those Brembo brakes, I'm not going to stomp on them, but they will feel like the hand of God is coming down and stopping your car. Absolutely, absolutely a must-have, in my opinion, to stop this fast of the car with this much weight. Unfortunately, the drawback to Brembos, they don't last as long as the regular brakes. But if you look back and you look at my other videos of the 5.7 that I test drove, I was not happy with those brake setup at all. I thought the car was much too fast, even with the 5.7, and much too heavy for that brake setup. So, my opinion, must have with the Brembos. Again, they don't last long, they're expensive to replace, but you buy a car like this for a performance or economy, or do you buy a car like this for the pure fun? Is this an everyday driver? Yes. I do drive this car almost every day. I do have 3 cars. This is one of the 3. To me, cars are a hobby, but they're also a means of transportation, and they need a good, reliable, fun car to drive sometimes. So this is my personal choice when it comes to what I choose to be a fun type of car. I was looking at Corvettes, I was looking at Challengers, I was looking at all types of cars, and this is the one that I felt was the right choice for me at the time. So here we are. And guys, questions, comments, concerns? I know this video isn't perfect. I know there's a lot of guys that could shoot a video a lot better than I could, but I gave you my honest to God's opinion on this car. I'm not holding anything back, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.